Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa, and today I thought we would make a really pretty card using the beautiful branch suite from Pink Fresh Studio. We're using all of the items except for the stamp set here, but it does have some great sentiments. I just wanted to use a different sentiment today. But I love this set because of the fine, dainty floral image. That is just so pretty. But we will be using the die set, the stencils, and the press plate, which I have warming up on my glimmer machine. That should be done pretty quickly. Now this stencil set is just 2 stencils, so that makes this really, really quick. As soon as that warms up, we can get that foiled. And today we are using the opaque black and white combo pack, but we're just using the black. My timer went off, so I pulled my plate out of there, my tray. Let's put our foil and our cardstock down, and then always put your green plate facing the heat. I ran that through my die cutting machine, and we have a beautiful image here. That is so pretty. I just love those fine dainty lines on that. So let's put this away, and we can start stenciling already. This card is going to come together so quickly. I've got my grip mat, and then we've got our stencil number 2, and it is very easy to line up. I think that's good. Just make sure that's pressed down so it doesn't go anywhere. And we are going to be using Sunshine and Marigold from Pink Fresh. Also using their inks. I love their inks. I use their inks all the time. So first we are going to bring in our shader brush 1. Sunshine is a very, very bright yellow. So I'm going to make sure that I tap off and then just very gently get a light layer of ink on there, just throughout the whole thing. I hope everybody is having a fabulous day. All items used will be listed and linked in the description below. We are using quite a few items today, and I just love floral images. I thought we'd do something pretty. We've been doing kind of cutesy cards, and I wanted to do something really, really pretty. So that's what we're doing today. And see, just as easily as that, we have our yellow already done, our first layer, and we're keeping that light. I don't want to go too dark. Then we are going to bring in a smaller shader brush, also Waffle Flower. This is 0 plus. Let's kind of get some of that yellow off though. And be very careful when you wipe your masks because they sometimes have pieces that you could bend on accident. I have done that, and it's a little depressing. It's not fun. So now we're just going to add some shading in the middle because this is just a 2-piece stencil set. You don't have the other additional stencils that do the shading for you, so we're just going to do it on our own. And we are just going to kind of fill in the middle of these flowers here, just for highlight and accent. And this comes together so quickly. Make sure you tap off. You don't want to take that brush to your image and end up with a harsh line. And that is coming along beautifully already. That is so pretty. I just love stencils. You can get so much detail. All right, let's see what we got. And that is so pretty already. I just love that. So now we can move on to stencil number 2, which is our greenery. And that lines up just as easily. Just make sure everything is pressed down so it sticks to your sticky mat. So for our greenery, I've got grassy knoll and olive, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're starting with our lighter color, and we're just going to very lightly add color to that image. Please be sure to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, like this video, share with your friends if you haven't already. I love reading all of your comments. And see right here is where I kind of bent up my stencil while cleaning it previously. Let's see. Let's get that kind of pushed back down. It does happen, so just be really careful when you're cleaning your stencils. So now we can come in with our darker color, which is olive, our smaller brush, and we're just going to highlight just like that. It doesn't need to be real dark. We're kind of going for dainty and feminine here. I just want some shading for dimension. And now we can look and see what we got. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. I love that. Now we can take the coordinating die and cut this out. We got our image die cut, and this just pops out really easily. I always save my tape also, so I can reuse that. Just pop that out of there, just like that. Then we can pop out all the little pieces. I just love pink fresh dyes because they have so much detail to them. There we go. And now we can already start assembling. So we've got quite a few other items we're using here. I have an arch. We're using the nested arches, and I used the two largest, and I cut that out of glitter paper. My glitter paper that I'm using today is Lawn Fawn Pixie Dust. I've also got the curvy foliage die, and I cut two of that, also using the Lawn Fawn Pixie Dust glitter paper. That is so sparkly. I just love that. Then we've got the Pink Fresh Lush Vines. Now this is a hot foil plate, but you can use it for pressing, dry embossing, and getting a beautiful image on there. For my sandwich that I used in my die cutting machine, I used the A plate, the B plate, the E, which is the rubber mat. Then I put my paper, and then I put the embossing or the hot foil plate over that. And then I used plate C, and that gave me all that beautiful impressed detail. And even the back is beautiful. It's got all those leaves, and you can see kind of like little, I don't think they're flowers, but maybe little berries. And that is just so pretty. So we are going to go ahead and start assembling already. We've got our image here, and I know I want that kind of in the corner right there. So now we just need to figure out where we want our curvy foliage. And I'm just going to place that just like that. Actually, I think that looks really nice like that. So we've got that placed, and I've already got foam tape on the back of my arch here. So I can just flip that over, peel that foam tape off. I did do it in sections, so I could peel little pieces off. Peel that foam tape off and stick that image down right where I want it. Then you can bring in your scissors and just trim off the excess. And in some cases, we will use the little pieces if they are still whole enough to use. So we're just going to cut those off just like that. We can place our image back in and figure out where we want some more foliage. And I know I definitely want some up here, but we do not want to go over our arch too much because we do need this to still fit into an envelope. So we're just going to repeat the process and add foliage to our frame. I added a couple extra pieces over there on the side just to give us a little bit more character and add more detail. So now we can flip this over and pull off all of the remaining foam tape. I got all the remaining release papers off of that foam tape. Just adjust one more time. We're going to bring this in and attach it to our embossed piece. So just get that centered. I'm just looking at the top and the bottom and the sides. Get that placed and then just push it down. And that foam, the foam strips on the back of that frame will hold everything down. So now we can just put a little bit of glue. First, let's get some foam squares in there. I want to put some foam squares underneath my flowers. And just like that. And then that will hold your floral image in place. And I'm using two different sizes here. I'm using the regular foam squares and the thin foam squares, just for extra dimension. That should be good. And then we can just put a little bit of glue behind those larger flowers that are hanging over. And sometimes you need to really hold that down for a minute because glue takes a little bit longer to adhere to the glitter paper. So we're just going to let that dry for a minute. So our flowers are adhered to the glitter paper. They set. I went ahead and I added foam tape to the back of my panel. We've got a top folding card base here. And all we need to do is add this and we are like basically done. This came together so easily. When you have a pretty floral image that you really, really want to use but don't know what to do, I like to just do a frame and some kind of foliage behind it and it just turns out beautiful. So for my sentiment, I used the Spellbinders More Sentiments hot foil plates, and I just love this. And speaking of that, you know, I hope that Spellbinders comes out with a little mini foiling machine for just sentiments. Now that they've got that little scout, I hope that they come out with a mini foiling machine because to foil just one sentiment in my big machine, I feel like it's just such a waste. Like I'm wasting all that space. So we're going to place our sentiment here, but I only need foam strips behind this area because we've got squares back there, so we don't want to make it uneven. So we only need a little bit of foam strip back there. And let's test that. And I think that height is perfect. So let's go ahead and add this. You know, we could probably put a little bit more over here. I really think they need to come out with a mini glimmer machine for their scout. That would just be perfect. Then you can just do one sentiment and not feel like you should be using up all that extra space for something else also. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue to the edges of that. And my sentiment I also did in the black foil. Just take a look at that and see if it's straight. Give that a press. And now all we have to do is add our jewels. That came together so quickly. I am using Pink Fresh glitter drops in the leaf. Oops, made a little mess there. So please be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. I love reading everybody's comments. And just like that, we are done. Can you believe that? That was so simple. And I just love how dainty those lines are on that floral image. I also added a couple of the leaf glitter drops in the flower, and that is so sparkly. I just love cards like this. So of course, you know, I can't just do one color. I also did one in the turquoise color. I will have all colors and everything listed on my blog. Then we have a purple one, and this one is just striking. Those purples are beautiful. We have a pink one. They all came out so pretty. And then also, since I had my black and white foil out, I decided to do white foil on the back background, and I think that also came out beautiful. I used my oxide inks to color that. My background here is done the same as we did on our yellow card, and those are just striking. I love that. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I appreciate it. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.